Hello everyone, this is my first long video since I started running this channel, and in this video we're gonna be talking about 5 tips which you can use, which will definitely bring your English command to the next level. Let's start! So the first one, listen to something as much as you can during your day. I would say that this is the most practicable and applicable advice to your day-to-day life. Just try to listen to some podcasts, interviews or maybe YouTube videos while doing other stuff during the day. For example, commuting to your job, cooking something or maybe walking somewhere, for example in the park. By doing this you will 100% bring your listening skills to the next level, because not only will you start consuming more information in English, but also it will improve your ability to understand and comprehend words and phrases in a so-called passive way, when you're not listening to something intentionally. Because sometimes I see lots of people having difficulties in understanding what they've just watched or listened to, if they do it without being completely immersed in this process, just with their headphones and sitting in front of the screen. And by the way, why wouldn't we go outside? Let's just do it. The second one, don't try to put as many complicated words as possible into your active vocabulary. So what I mean is that if you don't prepare for an English exam such as TOEFL, IELTS or maybe Cambridge exam, and don't make it as your priority and just learn English for your day-to-day life, there is no absolutely point to try to force yourself to put as many C1, C2 words as possible, maybe idiomatic expressions, into your active vocabulary, only because you want to learn all of them. But without a shadow of a doubt, the more words and phrases will be in your passive vocabulary, the better, so that you will be able to understand them from reading or listening to something. Because let's be honest, how often do you usually use complicated words in your mother tongue with your friends, colleagues, with your family, and basically people who spend the lion's share of your time with? I guess the answer will be obvious, but on the other hand, all the information that we consume we're able to understand, no matter whether we tend to use this word or not. And I would also say that having watched hundreds of movies, shows, late night shows, etc., interviews, in most cases people don't usually try to overcomplicate their language and just convey their thoughts in a way that is clear, simple and concise. The third one, warm up a little bit before having English conversation. From the first glance, this advice may seem a bit unusual, because frankly saying, rarely have I seen anyone recommending this. But from my personal experience and people who I've been teaching, it's one of the things that really works. Not only will it help you to switch from one language to another before getting into lesson or maybe some conversation, but it also activates your brain and wake you up in a way that it's going to become a way easier to come up with some structures, words, expressions that you've learned. And here's what you should do. 5 or 10 minutes before your lesson or maybe have an English conversation with someone, just try to ask yourself some question or maybe raise an issue regarding something that concerns you, and just try to elaborate on this out loud. Once your English conversation starts, you will immediately notice that it's become a way easier to come up with some sentences, words, expressions, no matter what topic you are talking about. So the next one, make up your own sentences and use the words that you've recently learned as soon as possible to be able to memorize them. So this, I would say, one of the most essential and effective way how to memorize new words and put them into your active vocabulary. Because unfortunately, writing down a new word and phrase that you've come across and just trying to learn them by heart isn't always enough to be able to apply them automatically and quickly. So let's just see how we can integrate this advice into our process of learning English. For example, if you discussed a new topic or maybe was working on a new article or some interesting video or show, and let's say there are several words, idiomatic expressions, phrases that you've never been familiar with, here's what you need to do. So the first step, write down all these new words and phrases with 1 or 2 examples from online dictionary. In my opinion, it's better to use English dictionary such as Cambridge dictionary. The second step, make up your own sentences with all these words relatable to either your life or maybe some recent news. And the last one, you're gonna have to try to apply all these new words during your next lesson. Or if you learn English without a teacher, you should write some essay or maybe small article in which you're gonna use all this vocabulary. Or you can easily make up several sentences containing all these new vocabulary and just pronounce them out loud. So, and the last one, don't try to get rid of your accent on 100% to sound like a native speaker. First of all, by giving this advice, I don't want to burst your bubble or discourage you in any way. I just want to say that if you start learning English when you're a teenager, like 15 or 18 years old, in most cases, unfortunately, it's almost impossible to get rid of the accent of your first language. But on the other hand, it doesn't mean at all that you have to put aside your English pronunciation. So my point would be this. While studying English, you should definitely pay attention to how to pronounce each word and phrase correctly, but not be 100% obsessed with trying to copy a native speaker who's been speaking this language from the very young age. You just need to be focused on improving 4 parts of your English: reading, writing, listening and speaking. And I assure you that your improvement in English accent will eventually keep up with your English command on the whole. So thank you for watching this video up until the end. If you found this video interesting, don't forget to click the subscribe and like button, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!